Good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a really good day. It is good to see you. It is a beautiful morning here on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. I wanted to touch base in regards to a couple things. A lot of you watching this will remember exactly where you were September 11th, 2001, and everything that we had gone through. It was a tough day for thousands of people, and ultimately an entire nation. Unfortunately, a catastrophe like that is one of the best adhesives that binds people together, brings us together not only as people, as friends and family, but as a country to honor, to understand, and ultimately to come to terms with and forgive so we can move forward in a new direction with renewed vigor and love. And I wanted to kind of touch base and go over a quote that I read by Tyler Perry, which I thought was quite fitting. Tyler Perry says, "When you haven't forgiven those who have hurt you, you turn your back against your future. When you do forgive, you start walking forward." Which I thought was really interesting and I thought was very fitting, especially for today. So I'm going to read that one more time. And again, this is a quote by Tyler Perry. "When you haven't forgiven those who have hurt you, you turn your back against your future. When you do forgive, you start walking forward." And I take that into consideration not only as a group mentality and a group idea, but also as an individualistic idea, something that I can take into consideration and apply to my own life. And it's interesting because throughout our life, we always run into people, places, things that may not handle our emotions the way that we wish they did. There may be some malicious nature, some callousness, there may be some anger, there may be some hatred, there may be some arguments and some fighting, some destruction, some betrayal. It's life, and it's unfortunate, but it is a part of our life. It's something that we deal with potentially on a daily basis, because you never really know where it's going to come from. That old adage of those who love you the most hurt you the most carries a lot of weight, and the reason that they hurt you the most is because you love them the most and you allow them closer to you than anybody else. However, if we continue to look back and we continue to focus on the anger and the hatred that somebody displayed toward us, and we don't not necessarily forgive them, but allow ourselves to forgive them and forgive ourselves, it's very, very difficult to look forward. If we're always looking backward at what happened in the past, it's impossible for us to navigate our life moving forward. And in what direction is everything moving is forward. We can't go backward. They say hindsight is 20/20. Of course it is. And it always will be. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to look back and reflect. I'm not saying it's bad to look back and try to understand and come to terms with what happened, so you better understand how to move forward, of course. However, forgiveness is a big part of that. To let it go, to forgive, to focus on moving forward and let what happened in the past stay exactly where it is in the past. My friend Sandy always says that's why the windshield is so big and the rearview mirror is so small. Where you're headed is much more important than where you've been. And I think that comes into very, very clear view when we realize that there are people in our lives that not only have we not forgiven, but we still may harbor some animosity toward. And that energy is finite. We only have a certain amount of energy to give, a certain amount of focus to give on a daily basis. And if we give that focus to our past, if we give that focus to those previous relationships, if we don't focus on the future and what's coming up, we may miss opportunities and we may be driving through the dark for too long that now we find ourselves lost because we spent so much time looking backward. We've been moving forward but not paying any attention to it, and we have no idea where we are. So walking forward is a vital point in life, to be able to not only forgive the people that wronged you, but to forgive yourself for mistakes that you've made, for things that you've done, for things that you tried and didn't necessarily work out. And please understand, you never win unless you play. The bigger the risk, the bigger the win. But if you don't risk anything, you will just cruise control through life. And that's fine. There's no problem with that. If that's what you want to do and that's what brings you satisfaction and happiness, by all means, hit the cruise control button, sit back and enjoy the ride. But if you're going to enjoy the ride, make sure you're paying attention to where you're headed. Again, it's good to reflect in the past, but don't linger. It's good to think about what happened in the past, to go over it in your mind so you can understand how to move forward, but don't get stuck there. I've been guilty of it myself. I've spent a lot of time looking behind me, trying to figure out what happened, how that happened, and how I could have changed it. And not enough time staring ahead of me, figuring out what I need to do, what my next move is, whether I need to make a left or a right, whether I need to tap the brakes or hit the gas. So I'm on cruise control moving forward, and I'm paying attention far too much to my past. But once we let that go and we forgive not only the people that wronged us, but we forgive ourselves as well, we can wipe the slate clean, we can focus on our future, and we can move forward with a renewed vigor and an unending veracity. So today, when you find yourself thinking about the past, or you find yourself lingering in what happened previously, remember that at any time you can end that story and end that thought train, and you can focus on what you need to focus on and let the past stay exactly where it is. You can't change it. You can go back and think about it at any time. That's no big deal. But the future is real time. The future is right now. And that is what you need to embrace. That's what I need to embrace, is my current, present moment moving forward. So I think it was really good what Tyler Perry said. I think it was an excellent quote, and I think it's fitting for today. When you haven't forgiven those who have hurt you, you turn your back on your future. When you do forgive, you start walking forward. So today, forgive and start walking forward. And let's walk together. It'll be fun. It's always fun to have a buddy. Plus, I got Pop-Tarts with butter. You can't go wrong with that. I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you. Peace and love, and above all that good stuff, lots of happiness. Enjoy your Tuesday. I'll talk to you soon. Pizza.